Hey up lads, so as you can probably tell by the same clothes and hair and all that jazz, I'm recording this vlog on the same day that I recorded my final 12 days of Crimbo vlog. I've gained a cup of tea though, it's my Little Miss Chatterbox mug, because, you know, I think that's quite fitting for vlogs, so why not? Right, so today is just sort of a kind of, I don't know, not quite a rant, but a little bit of a rant. Maybe that's why I've got my cup of tea, maybe I'm trying to keep myself calm so I don't babble over and accidentally get really mad. No, this is something which I'm gonna call this, I've decided to call this vlog Think Before You Tweet, because everybody likes witty puns like that, right? I've noticed a trend on Twitter for a long time now. This is like an ongoing thing. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. Kind of wanted to address it because some people don't quite address it so often, or it kind of gets addressed sort of half-heartedly quite a lot, but I think it's kind of an important thing to talk about, and that's people who publicly name and shame people or events on Twitter. Now this can kind of mean a number of things, but the general thing I'm focusing on is just sort of I don't even know where to begin with this. It just makes me so Okay, so for example, say you and your friend have a falling out, and then you immediately go to Twitter and you post about what a bad person they are, or even not necessarily naming them, but being like, you know what you did, blah blah blah, subtweeting, basically subtweeting. But subtweeting isn't quite as bad as actually publicly naming and calling people out on it. Maybe you've had, you know, a bad experience with a group of people, or maybe, you know, there's just a specific person that you really dislike, and I feel like calling people out in public is just not cool, not the way to go, and honestly, it just makes you look like a bit of a prat. Now, sometimes this can vary, and I'm not really talking about situations where, for example, say there is a YouTuber that you know is a rapist or a paedophile, and you want to warn people and be like, look at this person is, you know, doing this and that and the other. Then, publicly, often that's a good thing because it gets the awareness raised a lot faster, but there's still different ways of going about that. For example, you don't go saying to them, this video is going to have quite a few swears in it, by the way, because I'm going to be giving examples and I'm pretty pissed off, so yeah, just to FYI, warn you rating thing. Ugh. So for example, if you know that maybe, say, a big YouTuber raped, you know, your friend or something like that, then you don't go onto Twitter and you say, this person is an asshole and a douchebag and a rapey creep who raped my friend. You don't do that. You don't, because that's not how things should be done. That's not professional. It's not well thought out or wise, and often it looks like you're just making a lot of noise without much proof. If you wanted to raise awareness about a situation like that, you have to have proof, really, and as sucky as that sounds, you do need proof, otherwise you're always going to get people who doubt you. Even when you have proof, people are going to doubt you, but what you do is you say, this is the evidence I have, this is what happened, this person is a dangerous rapist and this is why. You don't go calling them names, you can do that, you can call their names all you want if you're ranting about them to a friend or something like that, but don't do it on Twitter because it gets ugly very fast, feelings get hurt, and it just makes you look very unprofessional, regardless of if you are withholding your Twitter to a standard of being professional. If it's just a personal Twitter, even then, it still doesn't look good and it doesn't do any favours for you. That's kind of just addressing actual situations where you are publicly calling people out. What I'm generally thinking about is, if you're just calling people out in general, you've had a bad experience, you've had a falling out with a person or a group of friends or something like that, it's never, ever, ever, ever okay under any circumstances to call them out publicly like that. It is never ever okay to say, this person is a douchebag, or I hate this person, or this person has been nothing but horrible to me, unless it's like a PSA that they are going to be horrible to everybody, and therefore, and you have evidence of this and things like that. Even then, resolve it privately. There's no excuse to not try and resolve things privately or talk about it through with friends. It looks extremely childish, extremely unprofessional, and it just sinks you to their level, and honestly, it puts a bit of a black mark by your name in my books. It's like, okay, so I've had fights with friends before, of course I have, everybody has fights with friends, and if I were to have a fight with a friend and they were to immediately go to Twitter or to Facebook or to Instagram or whatever social media, you know, WordPress, and do a blog about it and say, you know, my friend has been horrible to me, I've had this awful situation, I'm done with them, I hate them all, that friendship is ruined, that friendship is gone. Mostly for me at least as a person, that friendship is gone. Like, I can't trust you. Like, why would I want to be friends with someone who publicly calls me out on things instead of trying to reasonably solve it in a private manner? It just doesn't look good. And when I see other people doing that about people they've fallen out with, it makes me not want to be their friend. Because, you know, I'd want to be friends with someone who can act mature and responsible and talk things through with me, or you know, talk things through with a friend to try and clear their mind and then try and talk things through with me. I'd want a friend who can actually treat me like a decent human and talk through things with me, rather than, you know, bitch about me to everyone in public. And, like, I get the whole kind of mindset of, well, they treated me badly and, you know, called me horrible, so I should treat them badly and call them horrible. And it's like, just don't sink to their level. Why would you want to do that? No matter how mad you are, there is absolutely no rhyme or reason for you to sink to their level. What do you get out of posting things like this publicly, besides maybe a couple of other people looking at it and being like, oh, they think that person is mean? It is far more harmful to you to be openly calling people out on stuff publicly than it is for them. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me, really. And often, a lot of the time, people will regret posting about that. Often you put a lot of your friends in uncomfortable situations. Say I were to have a fight with a friend, and maybe it's someone who's big in the community or something like that, and we have a falling out, and I post about them saying how much I hate them publicly. That's going to make other people in the community feel extremely awkward, and it's going to start making people pick sides. And unless you're a very not nice human being, that's not what you want. You don't want people to pick sides and split up. You want to sort things out. You want to resolve things. Most of the time, you just want to move past it. If you want to cut that person out of your life, fine. The way to not do that is to post publicly about it, because that will make the drama, that'll get everyone else involved, that'll make the drama even bigger, and it'll take a very, very long time for people to forget about it, because once something is on the internet, it's very difficult to take it off. I try this thing where if I'm posting a tweet that I'm quite emotionally invested in, whether it's about someone, even if it's just a subtweet, I try to think about it now. And this is something I've done in the past where I've just thought, but I haven't thought before I've tweeted or something like that, and I've tweeted about someone or tweeted about a situation, and there's been backlash. And so I don't do that anymore. I try really hard not to. I think for 15 minutes, and I try to, in that 15 minutes, talk to a friend who's around about what's happened. Not necessarily naming names to the friend, but being like, I've had a falling out with someone, this has happened, I'm really angry. Often talking about it calms me down, and I feel like, okay, actually this isn't a good idea to post to Twitter, or like, maybe I'll post this to Twitter instead, but I won't do it like that. Like, it is so much more helpful if you think things through, you stop and you think. No harm is going to come out of waiting for 15 minutes, is it? The only thing that can change in 15 minutes is maybe your emotions calming down, which is a good thing. Like, it's not like if you posted it 15 minutes earlier, then that person would be 10 times more, you know, hurt by your tweet than if you posted it 15 minutes after. Like, there's no reason to not wait. And a lot of the time when people post these tweets, they're all like, this is a horrible person, I hate this, I hate that about them, they did this to me, you know, I think it's rude, blah blah blah. Have you looked at yourself? You're the one being rude and discourteous as well. Regardless of what they've done, you're doing the same thing. And like, you're telling people why this person is such a bad person, but then aren't you also being kind of not a very nice person by publicly calling them out and stuff like that? I know there's so many different situations that are so different for people, but in my personal opinion, no good ever really comes out of publicly calling people out on stuff. It's just messy, it's wrong. I've seen tons of friends do it, I've done it myself. I know it's never a good thing, that will never end well. Often feelings can get very hurt. Maybe that person would be up for resolving things with you, and now you've just completely burnt the bridge and there's no way things can be resolved. Maybe you don't want things to be resolved between them, and that's fine. You just ignore them, you just cut them out of your life, you just don't talk to them. That's what you do as a decent human being. You don't just say, this person is horrible and I hate them and they smell. That's what 5-year-olds do. They call names to each other, they tell everyone in the class and gossip and bitch and say, oh, this person is horrible, no one be friends with them. And then that person gets segregated, or you make people pick sides, and it gets very messy very quickly, and it is not a pretty thing to see. It's just a thing that I've seen on Twitter a lot recently, and I'm really sick and tired of people spreading all this nastiness on Twitter like that. There's been several, you know, people that I've seen do that, and it's people that I used to think quite highly of, and it's just kind of, it just brings you, like, not a lot, but it just brings you down a little bit in my books, and I just sort of I don't know, like, and often a lot of the time people do amend their ways and publicly apologise, or, you know, delete tweets, or they say, look, I'm really sorry about this, and they actually resolve it with the person. That's great to see, that's great to see. But it's when people repeatedly keep doing it, and it's like, do you not learn from your mistakes? And sometimes it's people who, like, one of my, you know, used to be friends, she used to, like, publicly call people out on stuff all the time, and every time I'd approach her and I'd be like, you know, hey, you think that's such a good idea, like, what about how they feel? They're like, what about how I feel? They were horrible to me. And it's like, you need to think that there's two parties involved with this. Even if the other person has been nasty, it doesn't mean you have to be nasty. That's how wars start. That's how massive, you know, rifts, schisms in groups happen. It's when you retaliate back with the same kind. Sometimes all you need to do is take a breath and take a step back. And especially when people are role models. You see so many big YouTubers and people who are really heavily involved in communities call people out on stuff, and it's like, you know, you're setting an example for people. And I know people are sometimes like, I didn't ask to be an example for people. And it's like, well, you can see yourself that you have a big, you know, online following or something like that. You make yourself a big presence in a community. Then don't be naive, don't play stupid and say, oh, I never wanted to be, you know, a role model for people. It's like, well, look at yourself now, you are one, and you need to think about that, because that's a responsibility that you have. It's like saying, I never wanted to pay taxes, so I just avoided them, and now look at me, I'm in, you know, I'm in the shit with the police, whatever. Like, no, like, you can see yourself, you are a role model. You can see that you have a big following. You can see that you are a role model involved in a community, whether you like it or not. So you need to think about how you want to carry yourself and as a person. If you're setting a bad example for young children and saying it's really good to call people names and call people out and stuff and things like that, like, what kind of person does that make you? Like, again, kind of bring it down a couple of notches in my book. I don't like people who play dumb and say, oh, I didn't know, oh, I didn't realise, oh, I'm just putting my feelings out. And it's like, well, just think. Like, there's absolutely no harm in stopping and thinking about what you're saying. Like, no harm at all. I see zero harm in waiting 15 minutes. I want you to come up with 3 good reasons in the comments, if you really want to challenge me on this, as to what disadvantage I guess you get out of waiting 15 minutes or half an hour before posting a tweet and talking to someone before you do it. What possible disadvantages could that give you? Like, the only thing that could change is you calming down, which is good, in my opinion. It's kind of ironic because here I am ranting and talking and things like that without taking a breather and taking 15 minutes. But you know what? I posted these tweets as a rant yesterday, and I thought I want to vlog about it, and I thought about it overnight, slept on it, and I decided I still want to vlog about it. I think it's an important topic, and I think it's an issue that people don't actually properly address much. People get hurt, feelings get hurt, rifts get created, people get torn between sides. It is not pretty. You don't need to make every little fight you have public, okay? Just don't, because it will come back to bite you, it'll come back to bite the other person, it'll come back to hurt everyone in this community. And a situation which you might just want to call someone else and be like, I hate this person, I'm not friends with them anymore, and you might think that's the end of it. It's not. As soon as it's public, it never sees an end. Once it's public, it's out there, and people are going to get involved in the drama, and people are going to speculate, and people are going to choose sides, and it's going to get really, really bloody messy really quickly. Just think, please, before you post things. This turned out a lot more angry than I wanted to be. This tea is clearly not helping. I need more Earl Grey. Didn't mean for this to come across as quite so ranty, and I'm really sorry if it did. You know, this is just something which I've seen gone on for years, and like, especially in the past couple of weeks, I've seen it go on a lot, and it's like, stop with the subtweets, stop with the calling people out and stuff, and just talk to the person. If you're like, this person doesn't want to talk to me, maybe it's because you're calling them out on stuff, maybe, and like, you know, publicly shaming them. Maybe that's because, you know, they feel like you're a lost cause and there's no reason to talk to you with reasoning, because you've said publicly, I hate this person, I don't want to be their friend anymore. Like, just think, please. Use that brain of yours. Make 2016 a year where it's a fresh start. You don't do that with people anymore. Just do it. Just do it! Don't let your memes be memes. But, you know, just be nice to people and, like, spread the love a little bit more. And just give people a bit of courtesy. Like, give people the same amount of respect that you'd give to yourself. If you think, oh, this person has been really mean to me and, you know, broken my trust, or, you know, something like that, don't break it in return by publicly shaming them. Just move on from it, or talk to them, or just cut contact from them and get over it. Like, that came across as really harsh, and get over it, but you know what I mean, like, move past it. So much more important than making it a public hoo-ha. So be nice, guys, be kind to people, and just spread the love, and, like, you know, just spread the love. Be lovely to people. This tea is not gonna fall off my knee. I'm determined it won't. That's kind of my public service announcement for the year, I guess. That's all my anger out for the rest of the year. If you want to call me out on any of this, you think I'm being unfair, go ahead. I'm happy to talk in the comments like I always do, but I'm pretty standing firm by my general stance on it. As I said at the beginning, there are situations where sometimes publicly calling people out is important, but again, you do it professionally, you do it calmly, you don't swear and call people names. You do it in a good way, which will make people actually listen to you, rather than just throwing words around and making a lot of noise, okay? Okay? You want a shake on it? Yeah? Good. Glad to hear it. Hope you guys, like, you know, thought some of the stuff I said was okay, because I don't know for sure, but, you know, I'll probably post this anyway, because why not? I hope you guys are having a great 2016 so far, and I will see you guys in the next vlog, but until then,